Hi, welcome back to Learn Coding Camp. This is the third video in a three-part series for building your own 2D game using GDevelop. We can continue where we left off from, as you can remember. Let's click back on the home page. Click on Get Started. As you can see, we've finished the first portion, we've finished the second tutorial, and now let's tackle the third tutorial. This tutorial focuses on adding leaderboards to your online game, adds game personalization, timers, and let's add your start screen as well. Let's get started. Let's click on this last tutorial. Let's click on Let's Go. Immediately it tells you to right click on your background colored grass and set as your global object. Let's right click and set as global object. What this does is it sets this asset as a global object, meaning that it's not only going to be available on this scene, but it's going to be available on other scenes as well. Let's create a new scene to start a new scene. And let's click Add Scene. And let's name this Start Screen. Let's press Enter. As you can see, since we've set that object, the background colored grass, as a global object, it's immediately shown in our object window. We didn't even have to add this. Let's drag the background colored grass into the scene and expand its size to cover the entire scene. Click I'm done. Now let's create a title. Let's click on Add New Object. Let's create a text from scratch. New objects from scratch, and it highlights text. Let's select text. Let's call the object name title. Let's change the font size to 200, and let's change the initial text to display whatever you want the title you name to be. Let's just call this Fling Game. And then let's click apply. We're done. Let's drag the title to the scene. Let's right click on the title and click on duplicate. There you go. Now let's double click on title 2. We'll change the object name to start. Let's make this font a little smaller. Let's drop it down to 50. And let's change the text to start game. Apply that. And then let's drag this start game text onto the screen. Now we're going to interact with these titles. We need to add the logic to be able to interact with these titles. Let's add a new event and then add a condition. Let's click on the start. Let's scroll down. And what we want is when we touch that start, remember that start game text, we want to apply that condition and as well as another condition. Let's click on mouse and mouse button released. Choose which button you want the condition to apply to. Let's click left primary and then click OK. So now we have two conditions. It means that when you're using a tablet, if we touch that start game text, or we use our mouse button to click on that start game text, this action is going to occur. Let's click on scene and change the scene. Choose a scene and let's choose that untitled scene where the game is. And click OK. Now let's go back to the scene to add a score. But before that, let's test this out. Let's click on preview. And here we have the preview of the game. We have the title of the game and that start game text that we just made. Let's click on that start game and it goes to our game. Awesome. Let's close this and let's go back to the editor. Let's go to the untitled scene. Let's create a text that will display the player's score now. Let's click on Add a New Object. Let's click Text. This time, let's call this Score. Let's change the font size to 50. and change the initial text to display time 0. And we're done. Let's click apply. Let's drag the score on the top left corner of the screen. Right, let's put it right here. Now let's change the score to update dynamically. We'll have to go to the events tab, and we will create a timer that will start when the scene starts. Let's add a condition, and let's search for the scene. At the beginning of the scene, that should be good. Let's create the timer now. Let's create an action and search for scene timer. Start or reset scene timer, and let's call this timer score, and we're done. Click OK. I like arranging my project. Usually at the beginning of scene, I like keeping that at the very top of my events. Now let's display the score. Let's make the score dynamic, add action. Let's select score and then modify the text. We're going to set that text to this parameter. So it might look a little daunting at first, but don't worry. We need to type in this function. First, let's type in time. This is just a text, so it just exactly says time. And let's add the timer elapsed time. Timer elapsed time of our timer, which we called score. Right? Let's click OK. Let's see what that looks like for now. Let's click preview. And as you can see here, the timer is going up 5, 6, 7, 8, but you can see the decimal values showing up as well, and that's not what we want. So let's fix that. Let's go back to our events tab and go back to this function. So in order to only show the whole value of that, let's round up that timer elapsed value and close that in parentheses, and let's click OK. And let's check to see how that looks like now. And click preview. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Now it's only showing the whole values without its decimal values. That's exactly what we wanted. Let's close this preview and let's continue on. Now let's save the score of the player. In the events where the target red gets deleted, click on add action. In the event where the target red gets deleted, let's click on another add action. Now let's select leaderboard. Save connected player score. Click on that one. And let's open the leaderboard admin and create a leaderboard. Let's change this leaderboard's name to score and save changes. And let's click close. Now select the option to select the leaderboard from a list and select the leaderboard named score. Open the expression of the builder, and here search for timer. Scene timer value. Select the scene timer value, and then select the timer score. Let's click apply, and the action should be ready. Let's click OK. Now we will display the other player's scores after a 2-second delay. In the event where the target red gets deleted, let's click on another action. And here, let's click on wait. Let's click on wait X seconds and type in 2. Let's click OK. Now let's display the leaderboard. In the event where the target gets deleted, let's click on another action. Let's search for the leaderboard. Display the leaderboard action. And then let's choose the score leaderboard. We'll just use the built-in loader for now, and let's click OK. Now we need to ask the player to authenticate at game opening. So let's go back to the Start Screen Events tab. And then let's create an event. Let's add a condition. Let's type in scene. And at the beginning of the scene. And we're done. Let's add an action. Search for authentication. Select display authentication banner. And we're good. Just to keep this neat, let's move this to the top. And now let's make sure the player comes back to the start screen after closing the leaderboard. Let's click on the event scene tab. And let's add another action here. Let's type in scene. Change the scene. And let's choose start screen. Let's click OK. Now, let's open Project Manager. We want this start screen to be our default screen, to be the first screen that shows up. We can do this by right-clicking on it and set a start scene. This ensures that this is the default screen, or this is the first screen that loads. Let's go back to the start screen and let's preview our project. Let's click preview. And immediately on the upper left here, it says you are not authenticated. Click here to log in. So let's do that. So once we've logged in, you can see that prompt disappear. And let's click on the start game. And let's try to hit that target. We got 3 tries, so we better make it good. Got it! And now it shows our score. We did it in 6 seconds. Let's close this and try one more round. Start game. And let's throw it. Let's give it a shot. No. Second try. There. You win. And it's updated with my new score. 14 seconds. Close this. Congratulations, you finished your first game in GDevelop.